Good morning, everyone on Zoom and in Facebook land. So happy that we are together today for celebration service here at Unity Center. Actually, I'm at home again, and we'll see where Holly is. Maybe she's at the church, maybe she's at home. But it's a chance to do things a little differently. And we had the stomach flu at our house this week, so I'm taking it easy and certainly enjoying this time to sit with my brothers and sisters in love. So thank you. And as we start our service today, we're going to start with some music. Kyle is also out today with his stomach bug, not related. I don't know how that happened to both of us in separate parts of the state. But anyway, he's resting and getting some his health back. So that gives us an opportunity to bring back one of our dearest friends, Jody Stanfield. And I get giddy when Jody's going to be around. Good morning, Jody.
Good morning.
Good morning. So Jody's going to be our musical guest today for celebration service. So thank you, Jody, for setting our field today and for taking time to be with us. Take it away.
Thank you. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. In Sanskrit, that's Sanskrit, translated into English and finesse it a little bit. It means, may all beings be happy. May all my thoughts, words, and actions contribute in some way to the happiness of all beings. And so this is going to be our chant in Sanskrit this morning. So I invite you to echo me. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Now with me. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. 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 Good morning.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'd like to share a couple of announcements with you. Our book study will continue in the next couple of weeks. We just finished Who Have We Come Here? Who Have You Come Here to Be? Which was lovely. I loved that so much. We're going to start another book study in a couple of weeks, and it'll be over the 12 powers. And the holdup there is I'm just looking for a book that is available and affordable and is easy to read. When we get into some of the older books written by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, they're amazing and sometimes a little hard to digest or read. So I'm looking for some good options to either supplement or go with our book study. So I'm going to put that on Facebook probably by the end of the week. It'll be on our website. You can know what book to get. This time you'll get it on your own, make it a little easier on our end, and it's going to be wonderful. And I'll just say, my gosh, I'm going to miss all of you from our book study in the next couple of weeks. I look forward to seeing you every week. So hopefully you'll be there today for coffee hour, which is right after celebration service. We'll gather here on Zoom for a few minutes just to check in with each other, just to enjoy each other's company. So please come to that. Everybody's welcome, even if you're brand new here to Unity. So the link to join us for virtual coffee hour is on our website. If you're on Zoom, you're already in the right place, so just hang out. We take a little bit of a breather, then we pop back on and talk for a little bit. If you are new to Unity Center, welcome. My goodness, what a gift you are to us. And it's no coincidence that you're sitting with us today. Spirit drew you here. Spirit drew all of us here together, and let's just be grateful for a moment that we are together in this space. We could be anywhere in the world right now, right? But we are here together. And I just find that to be a miracle that you and I are a part of. Welcome. Morgan Rivers is one of our dear friends in the Unity community, and she offers a weekly heart rhythm meditation on Thursday mornings on Zoom from 10 to 10:45. The link is on our website, so you'll go to the homepage, click on the events calendar, and click on whatever Thursday is coming up. Really, any Thursday, you can get the link. Click on that, and you'll be ready to go. Remember, when you're using Zoom, the link doesn't work until it's time for that event. So you can practice clicking on it, but you won't get into that meeting until the time that it is supposed to start, which is 10 a.m. on Thursdays. Now, Morgan offers this meditation for free, but we do encourage you to give a donation that feels right to you. And if you go to our website to read the description of this event, you'll see how to make that donation right to Morgan. Well, I think that's all we have for announcements today. So let's get cozy and into our service together by saying our statement of faith. Here we go. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God, the good, omnipotent. Would you take a screenshot of that for a second, everybody? I want you to look those words up later. We say that, and I want you to have some prayer about it this week, okay? So just screenshot it, write it down, and we're going to say it one more time, okay? Same thing. This is the statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God, the good, omnipotent. Excuse me. And now we'll move on to our unity affirmation. As we say these things together, it's an opportunity for us to feel our oneness. We are speaking as one consciousness, one voice. Here we go. Unity of Des Moines is a radiating center of the Christ light, mighty to attract its good and to radiate good to others. Again, take a screenshot, write it down, pull that into your prayer this week, into your meditation. What does that mean to you? We're going to say it one more time. Ready? Unity of Des Moines is a radiating center of the Christ light, mighty to attract its good and to radiate good to others. Beautiful. Thank you. Let's take a moment to greet each other, to say hello. If you are on Zoom and Facebook, just maybe put a little hello in the chat box or send it with your being. Hello, I love you. Just take a minute to let us know that you're here. Say hello to each other. You can use the reactions button if you're on Zoom to give a little heart, a little wave, whatever you'd like to do. And then feel that love coming back to you. So we extend it, and that's reciprocal. We get to receive it back. We are in a constant flow of love, of abundance. So we give it out and we receive it back. Good morning. Good morning. Bless you. Good morning. I feel the love. Giving it right back to you. Yes, may peace be with you from Laura. Beautiful. It's time for our meditation. And the last few weeks, we did a video series of meditations. And if any of those were special to you, you can let us know by sending us a message and we'll make sure you get the link. We just did a little digging and found some things we loved on YouTube. But if you'd like any of those meditations, you can let us know. As we move into this Lenten season, hey, y'all, it's Lent. Did you know? This is the first Sunday of Lent. So Wednesday was Ash Wednesday. So maybe some of you went out to get some ashes on your forehead. Maybe it went by without your knowing. That's okay too. But we are in the season of Lent. So our meditation will reflect that. You're going to hear in the talk today that Lent is very much about releasing and renewing, loosening the binds of whatever's holding us and feeling freedom. So our meditation will kind of fit in with that. We're going to do some releasing and renewing. I just lost it. Spirit, help me, friend. There we go. So to get cozy in our meditation, I'd like you to just let your weight center on your chair. If you're laying down, allow your body to just release into your couch or your bed. You know, there's nothing you need to do right now except be present, and you've done that. Good job. There's nothing else you have to do. Give yourself permission to be in this moment. There actually is no past, there's no future, there's only this moment. So let's relish it. Pay attention to your breath. Allow your breath to come in and fill your body as if it's filling every nook and crevice of your body. Beautiful, clean, cool air that we are so grateful for. Let it come in and fill your body. Close your eyes if you're ready. And as you exhale, just imagine exhaling anything you don't need for this moment. Inhale peace. Exhale peace. Inhale love. Exhale love. Inhale oneness. Exhale oneness. Inhale joy. Exhale joy. Give your body permission to move or rock as you hear this meditation. All of you is here in this moment. Your brain, your heart, your body, your higher self, your spirit. To let these words move you in whatever way they are meant to. I release any belief in limitation. I renew my sense of possibility. I release a habit of judging others. I renew my commitment to see the divine in all beings. I release all doubt and indecision. I renew my divine power of wisdom. I release negative thinking. I renew my positive expectations. I release discontent. I renew my gratitude in all things. I release apathy. I renew my zeal and enthusiasm. I release the fear of lack. I renew my awareness of abundance in my life. I release any sense of worry. I renew my faith in divine order. I release thoughts of competition. I renew my willingness to cooperate. I release any need to complain. I renew my outlook through appreciation. I release old feelings of bitterness. I renew inner peace by forgiving. I release feeling stuck. I renew my will to take the next step forward. I release any feelings of hostility. I renew my practice of non-resistance. I release thoughts of illness. I renew my openness to the healing power of spirit. I release anger. I renew my patience. I release any sense of discouragement. I renew my hope with the power of affirmative prayer. I release my darkest fears. I renew the strength and courage of my heart. I release feelings of loneliness. I renew my connection with spirit, self, and others. I release problems that seem to overwhelm me. I renew my understanding of my spiritual nature. I release the shadows of sorrow. I renew myself in the serenity of silence. We release. We let go. We loosen. We untie. We move a little bit. So anything stuck to us can do that loosening, that shedding of skin, and begin to let go. We imagine the things that we released in this meditation floating off of us like old tiles on a roof, each one lifting up individually and floating away. We release. Take a nice breath in as someone who has released so much in this past minute and a half. You are lighter. You're not carrying things that you're not meant to carry anymore. We bless those things we release because they taught us something at some point. And now that lesson is learned, so we release. Now with a beautiful inhale, we feel the feeling of renewal. We renew. You are renewed. And imagine on your rooftop where those tiles loosened and floated away, imagine that there's some sort of beautiful, glittery, technicolor tar or something that's covering those holes. You are whole. You are complete. And now anything that you released is not a gap area. It's filled with spirit. It's filled with your divinity. You are renewed. Let that renewal feel true in this present moment. And also hear the word renewal as a promise. If you don't feel it yet, that's okay. Start by giving yourself permission to release and renew. We release and we renew. My voice is going to go quiet for a little bit. Let these words infuse into your being. Release, renew. And now take notice of your breath. Feel that breath again coming in and filling every part of you. Imagine that each one of your cells is now shining brightly, because as you renew, more light comes in. Go ahead and smile your biggest, most exuberant smile and feel that light coming through your face. When you're ready, open your eyes. You like those words in the meditation. I'd like you to know that I'm reading from the Lenten prayer booklet that's available for free from Unity Worldwide. So you can go to their website, and I'm sure it'll be on the close to the front page, but you could also do a search for Lenten booklet, and you can really just put your email in there and download it instantly, or you can get it sent to you for free. So it's a really beautiful booklet. We're going to be using it here and there in the next few weeks to inspire us and for our meditation. So if you're looking for something to guide you through this Lenten season, this is one of the resources that I would recommend. As we sit centered and grounded from that meditation, let's utilize it by praying for those who have asked for our prayers, and for praying for things we are claiming in our own lives, and for the world, the greater world and universe. And I ask if you'd please pray with me. Beneath a blanket of snow, surrounded by universal love, we allow ourselves to be enveloped with love. We give gratitude for the way love shows up in our lives each and every day. We connect with every other soul at this moment, crossing barriers of language, culture, time, and dimension, remembering that we are all one through love. We are united in love, and we share this blessed unity together. Together, acting as one divine consciousness, we send unconditional love to those in need. We send it. And as we send out love, we feel love return to us, amplified and strong. We uphold the world and all people in prayer as we send forth our love and energy to the people who have requested that we pray with them. And so we pray for Deb Jennings, Eric McClure. We open our hearts and pray for all the needs of the world, spoken and unspoken, known and unknown. We find strength in the knowing that all prayers are heard and attended to in divine order and timing. And so it is. Amen. And this is today's entry in the Daily Word. Again, another resource you can get from Unity Worldwide. Now, when we are in person, we have these available at the church, at the center, that you can purchase. And then every day, if you don't purchase, you can click on Unity Worldwide Ministries website or our website or our Facebook page, and you can see the daily entry. Here's the entry for February 21st, 2021. Ooh, 2121. 221. 21. I love that. Look at all those twos and ones. And this is based on Acts 17:28. In him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your own poets have said, for we too are his offspring. And if you'd like to change his to God, here is that again. In God we live and move and have our being, as even some of your own poets have said, for we too are God's offspring. I do what is mine to do and release and rest. Over the years, I have accepted more and more responsibility as I have grown in maturity and experience. I've also grown in wisdom as I am able to discern what is mine to do. I have learned what to take on and what to leave for others. I have also learned not to exhaust myself by taking on too many commitments. Perhaps most important, I know when to use my will and determination to make things happen and when to let go. I recall times in my life when I feel frustrated that events did not unfold the way I had expected. I can now see how they unfolded perfectly, often in ways better than I could have imagined. I now let go easily, trusting in that perfection. And the affirmation that goes with this reading, I'll say it once and then we'll say it together. I do what is mine to do and release and rest. I do what is mine to do and release and rest. The lesson today is beginning us on a Lenten journey. Boy, we take a lot of journeys when we are in this life, right? Lots of journeys. Some of them are small, some of them are big. Some of them come around year after year in a beautiful cycle because the universe presents us with learning opportunities and over, because even if we feel like we've learned something, check off that box, we're still growing, right? I heard this morning getting ready, I was listening to something, a YouTube video that was interviewing Ken Wilber, and they asked him the question, is death of ego, is that a one-time thing? And he said, no, it's not. You will have a death of ego, which is something we're going to talk about quite a bit in Lent, actually, where the part of you that, where fear lives, where where you can kind of get in the way of your life, where you are taking over too much instead of acting as a co-creator with God, when you're kind of stepping out of your lane, when your ego is driving the car. One of the things that we work toward or can work toward is letting that ego go, releasing the ego. And the renewal would be knowing that we are divine inside and that the ego does not drive us. The ego is jealous, the ego gets upset, hurt. And that will always be part of us, I'm sure, right? Because we're human. We definitely need our human side and our divine side. But we can release the ego or let it die because we don't need that to be our driving force, right? We can hand that over to God. We can trust in that. So we have these things come around year after year because they present another opportunity to look at and say, how am I doing? Or what is there more that I can wring out of that washcloth so I can learn a little bit more? And Lent is one of those times in the year where we can be very intentional about the death of ego. The 40 days of Lent are leading up to the story of the crucifixion of Jesus. And we're going to talk about what that death might mean to us, might mean to you. We're going to post some ideas. You know, at Unity, we never tell each other what to think. That's not our deal. But we do sit in safety and ask questions. So when we get to these big milestones in the church calendar year, like the crucifixion, Easter, Christmas, we get to those big milestones, it's an amazing opportunity to look at them and say, well, how does this make sense to me now? Maybe what you hear as we talk about Lent is totally different than what you heard when you were growing up. What a gift, right? And we're not Xing out anything that, we're not saying that's bad or wrong. We're just widening the box a little bit, right? We're stretching it out. We're stretching out the possibilities and saying, what else could this mean for me? When we get to the crucifixion, we will be talking about death. But those of you who pull oracle cards, you know that when you get the death card, it's really never about an actual death, right? It's about something that is falling away so it can be renewed. It's about making space, making room. And my gosh, we've heard Spirit talking about letting go and making room, shadow work for weeks now. So we know we're on the right track, right? We're following that guidance beautifully. Well, let's get into it. So Lent is 40 days. It's a season of fasting and prayer leading up to the joyful celebration of Easter. Easter being when Jesus rose again. Yeah, we're going to talk about that because that's quite a big story, isn't it? But today, we're just on the very first step of the journey. This is like when you have cleaned your house, packed your bags, somebody's looking over the pets, you've taken everything out of your refrigerator that could go bad, and you're just about to go on a really long journey. You're still pretty fresh, right? You have a fresh coffee on the first few miles, you're not arguing with anybody. We're in that part of the journey, so enjoy. Because as we go, there's going to be pit stops. There's going to be things that say, "Whoa, I don't like that. I want to stop. I want to go back." Are we there yet? But right now, we're in the very first step of that journey. So enjoy. So the 40 days leading up to the resurrection are not really, they're not really about, how do I say this? They are leading up to the resurrection, but the 40 days is in there because it helps us kind of build a foundation or a cornerstone. It also harkens back to other 40-day visions or challenges that happened in the Bible. So we've got Moses, Elijah, Jesus, all had 40-day journeys or 40-day big things that happened to them. So Moses, he received the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai at the end of a 40-day fast. Elijah talked with God on Mount Horeb at the end of his fasting of 40 days. Jesus began his ministry at the end of his 40 days when he was in the wilderness and he was tempted those 3 times. After that happened, that's when Jesus was ready to begin his ministry. So why 40? Why 40 days? Okay, I dug into this. Now I'm looking at some things from a book called Keep a True Lent by Charles Fillmore. Again, one of those classic books that we rely on because Charles Fillmore and his wife are the two people that began the Unity movement. So here's what it says about 40 days. The ancient Hebrew writers made a practice of using numbers to symbolize ideas. 40 in their minds was a four-square number, suggesting the idea of a foundation for something to follow, an idea of completeness. So the number 40 is frequently used in the scriptures to indicate a completed preparation for something to follow. Hear that again, will you? The number 40 is frequently used in scriptures to indicate a completed preparation for something to follow. The foundation has been laid. So that's what we're doing in these 40 days. We're not suffering. We're not hurting ourselves. We're laying a foundation. And if you've ever laid cement before, um, that's hard work, right? And we're doing that right now. When we consider Lent as a well-rounded or completed season of retreat from the things of the world for cleansing the mind, that would be fasting. So we're moving away from the things in the world that maybe we don't need as much. We're cleansing the mind right now. And the recollection of the things of spirit, it becomes a true season of preparation for the glorious Eastertide, a preparation for the resurrection of the mind from the darkness of its sins, doubts, and false beliefs into the light of understanding. Beautiful. That's why we're doing 40 days. 40 days, like you've been hearing, is about fasting and praying. So why fasting? Why would we fast? Why would we abstain from something? Well, Lent is an opportunity to forge a new relationship with God through fasting, which is to loosen and let go. Think about what your body does when you are fasting. Toxins let go. You feel your body processes more. It's a time where you are more intentional about what your body is doing. Now, another book that we're using today is The Revealing Word. This is a dictionary of metaphysical terms. So I looked up fasting in the Revealing Word, and this is from the Charles Fillmore Reference Library. And fasting is about denial. It's about abstinence from error thoughts. So error thoughts, I'm not enough, I'm not, I can't, those error thoughts. So denial and abstinence from error thoughts so we can meditate on God. Fasting in our culture for Lent has kind of got a marketability, right? Because we also get rid of things when we fast. Or some people decide, I'm not going to eat chocolate over Lent. Great. If that's right for somebody, that's great, right? We don't hold any judgment, and that could be right for you. Maybe this Lenten season, you have cut something out that is getting in the way of your relationship with God. Maybe you feel like it's a false idol. I don't know. But you feel like this time in your Lenten journey, you're going to fast from something because it'll bring you closer to God. When I grew up as a little Catholic girl and I questioned, why are we doing this? Sister Nora, why? I don't want to not eat meat. I love candy. I want to say hallelujah. How come we can't say that word? And the answer I got from Sister Nora was when we sacrifice something, we get a little bit of a feeling of what Jesus felt. Okay, That's what Sister Nora said. I want you to think about that. Is that why maybe you fast? Is to give you a little bit of empathy toward what our teacher Jesus might have felt? Is it to move something out that doesn't serve you anymore? Is it to make way? Maybe it's so that we can know God's truth versus our truth. But what we think about feels very right and true, right? We cling to those things that the ego has created. But God's truth is greater than that and more loving than that, stronger than that. So fasting gives us a time to loosen up what we believe is true because we've constructed it or somebody told us to believe it. And instead we can ask the question, well, what do you think, God? God, you take the lead. You show me. Jesus, take the wheel. Huh. I'm sorry, I had to put that in there. It also helps us have a moment to connect to the consciousness of God all around us. So when we're fasting, let's say you actually fast. Let's say you give a few days, maybe not 40, but a few days where you don't eat very much or anything during the day. You would really feel your body in a different way. And maybe it would slow you down enough. Not your metabolism, but maybe your way, maybe your essence would just slow down enough so you could feel that you are not alone. If it causes you to pause or slow down, maybe at first you sit down because, oh, my stomach is rumbling. This doesn't feel very comfortable. But in that moment of pause, you also have the opportunity to feel your connection to everybody else. And that takes work because we're often taught to do it yourself, be independent. You got this. Um, so everybody for himself. And that's one of the things that probably culturally we're trying to let release so we can renew it with, no, remember we are one. Yes, remember we are one. So fasting is really to loosen and to let go. And your reasons for fasting are yours and yours alone. Now, the other part of Lent is prayer. Prayer is important because that's when we sit with God. We are communing with God. We are sitting directly with God in conversation. Master, small m, that's us with the master. Capital M, you are master with the master. Now you're with God all the time, every second, right? It's part of the gift of our existence. We are never separate from God. And when we pray, we are more aware of that connectedness because on purpose, we've sat down and we've said, God, I want to talk to you. Whether that is a prayer that you've memorized, like Dear Our Father, or it's just sitting down, God, I got to tell you about my day, or God, I need help with this. Prayer allows you to commune with God and sit with God. Sometimes our prayers are meditative, and maybe we're not really asking for something. We're just enjoying time with the divine presence, our creator. I read in the Revealing Word, this book again, our kind of dictionary for some of our terms we use in unity. Listen to this. Prayer is the language of spirituality. Prayer is the language of spirituality. Isn't that lovely? Something that I love and get frustrated about with unity sometimes is unity uses special words for things. And I remember when I was a newcomer at Unity, I really loved how Unity of Des Moines shared things in a way that I could understand as someone who just walked in the door. And also, I was still aware that, okay, that word means more than what I thought it meant. Words that I'd been hearing in church for years or in my own life, I was realizing, wow, there's more to that word than I thought. Unity takes time to look at a word that we think we know and put a metaphysical spin on it or give it a strong metaphysical definition. So when we sit in service or we're reading things like fasting or spirit, crucifixion, those have different meanings. And sometimes they can feel like, I'm not smart enough for this. I don't feel aware enough. What are they talking about? There's like a different lexicon or different language for unity? Well, this tells us that that's actually not true. You speak the language when you pray, and it's your language. It's what you come up with. It's you and God. So if ever you're in a conversation with someone who you're thinking, well, that person's really got himself together. He's very enlightened. He's using all of these words. He's name dropping all of these books he's read. And you're feeling a little bit like, oh, who am I? I'm just me. You speak the language, darlings. Prayer, you've got the language already within you. So let that fortify you, please, please. And then when you decide, I want to look up what else this word means, woo, that gives you power, doesn't it? Gives you creative power, it gives your essence and oomph, but you already speak the language. So we've got fasting and we've got prayer. We've got fasting that's loosening up and letting go. We've got prayer, which allows us to sit with our Creator, get to know ourselves with the Creator. As we get to know the Creator, guess what? You're getting to know yourself because you are one. Your essence runs through the Creator. Creator essence runs through you. You are one. I want to make like this infinity sign with my hand right now because we've got God and us beautifully, beautifully there, never broken, no matter what. You know, we couldn't do anything that would separate us from God, not anything. That is pure unconditional love. So when we talk about fasting and prayer, there's an invitation here, isn't there? So we've got 40 days and you have an opportunity to realign, to loosen and let go, to sit with God and have a renewed connection with God. You can do this anytime, right? But as we said earlier, the universe tends to bring things around to us again and again. So we have another chance to look at it, to play with it, to practice. And Lent is one of those times. I'm going to open up the Keep a True Lent again and read that a little bit more about prayer. So the mind is a common meeting ground between God and person, God and man, God and you. And it is only through the most highly accelerated mind action, like prayer, that we can consciously make union with God, the one and only Creator. So this is actually saying that if you really want to be conscious with God, if you want to share that and be connected, prayer is the way to do it. There's a lot happening in our world, obviously, right? There's lots of things we have to pay attention to, lots that we have to worry about. I heard in our meditation today that Spirit said, there is no past, there is no future, there is only now. What would happen if you sat with God and you said, God, let's just sit in the now. Let's just be here now together. At the end of Jesus's 40 days in the wilderness, he began his spiritual ministry. Okay, so before that, we know that Jesus, the man, the dude, the friend, the brother, the son, was discovering who he was. And people were putting a lot of labels on him because he'd already done some pretty amazing things. He'd spoken words that people were afraid to speak. He was thinking about things differently. He's that person that you think, wow, there's just something different about them, isn't there? But after the 40 days, there was a renewed commitment. Jesus had fasted and prayed for 40 days. And when he came out of that 40 days, there was a renewal. There was a stronger commitment to his own spirituality. So much so that he was able to share it out with people. So we've got the miracles beginning. We've got the healing happening. So I have to wonder what that felt like for Jesus. And I want it. I wonder how Jesus felt to be so renewed and close to God, so much so that he was in line with universal law or divine law, meaning he was so close to God that whatever God could do, like healing, Jesus could now do. We say Jesus performed miracles, and he did, but Jesus is not the exception. He's the example. He is here to teach us that you are like him. You can create miracles. You can claim health and abundance. Yes, you can. You are worthy of a miracle, and you're able to create a miracle by essentially following Jesus's lead, where he loosened and let go anything that was in the way of his relationship with God. So when Jesus has a child in front of him that his parents say, heal my child, we're desperate, instead of Jesus thinking an error thought, I can't, who am I to do this? I can't do this. I'm not a doctor. Why are they asking me this? Instead, he said, all right, God, let's do this. Move through me, God. I believe, I have faith. And that's how he was able to heal. What if you did this in your life? What if you spent these 40 days loosening and letting go what no longer serves you in your relationship with God? What would that be like? What is it? What are those things that are in the way? Is it your lack of faith? Do you not feel worthy for a relationship with God? Do you still see Jesus as so separate from you that you think, well, that's Jesus, of course. Yeah, but I'm me. Could you loosen that up and let it go? Could you stay in prayer with God and talk to God about it? And when those teachable moments from the universe come to you, it's your moment to heal somebody or yourself, or to create something, to change something. We're all beautiful alchemists, aren't we? We can change the mood into something else. When a miracle is in front of you, could you, in that moment, release those error thoughts, those thoughts of doubt? Who am I? I can't. And instead, breathe in that oneness with Creator. Yes, I can. I can because I'm part of you, God. When Jesus went through this process, when he came out of the wilderness, he became Christed. So we say Christ Jesus or Jesus Christ. This was one of the milestones where Jesus became Christed. He went from just being Jesus, the man, into Jesus Christ. This is our example of how we are both human, Jesus, and Jesus Christ, divine. So Jesus, human, Christ, divine, and we are both. You have the Christhood within you. You were born that way. Been hibernating, perhaps, ready to wake up. But what if you had 40 days to let that Christhood simmer and wake up? And you were getting rid of things that were putting a bushel over that light. You were sitting in prayer with God, hearing what God has to say, feeling that encouragement, feeling that love for the first time, renewed, right? Let it feel like the first time. And after that 40 days, what if you came out of it Christed? Meaning that you no longer let your ego drive the car. You are brave enough to say, I'm letting God drive the car, and we're doing it together. I'm a co-creator with God. I am Christed. Christ means anointed, chosen. And God tells us, we believe, right, from what everybody's been saying and what people have channeled, that we are all Christed. We are all anointed. Okay, he taught us that by sending us Jesus. He says, let me show you what I mean, children. Watch this. And here is Jesus living this out. And we still talk about it so that we know, yes, we too are born Christed. We each have our own journeys. We each have our time in the wilderness, right? We come out of it differently, but there's a oneness there because the realization can be that we are all Christed. We know that it is for us because if we are all Christed, we are anointed, we have been chosen. Every person has been chosen. There's nobody left out. Sometimes we call God the Messiah, right? Well, Messiah means anointed. Messiah is also the promise of God. So with the promise of the Messiah coming, we know that there's a promise that our Christhood is developing. Maybe it's not an actual second coming of the essence of God showing up in front of our eyes. Maybe it's the Christ in us coming back to us. We forgot. We haven't discovered it yet. You are the promise of the Messiah. You are the promise of the Messiah. You are God's promise to this world that we can grow, that it will be okay, that we can move through struggles. You are that promise. And how do you do it? You show up. So yeah, we've been doing that book, Who Have You Come Here to Be? Which was all about how do we show up. Pull that book out if you've got it. Read it a little bit. When we get into the 12 power study, it's more of that. How do we show up? Because God is utilizing us, not using us, but utilizing us to step in, and by saying the words that we say, by holding space for people, by just showing up, we are showing that the world is evolving. We are showing that the world is good and magical and wonderful, one person at a time. If Jesus had not been here to show us this example, this conversation would feel a lot different, right? Maybe we would be struggling for an example. Maybe we would be feeling it, but we didn't have a way to look. We didn't have a process. We have a process. We're going to utilize that in Lent. We have a 40-day process of fasting and praying, and then we get to see what happens afterwards. Jesus was fully committed. When he was in the wilderness fasting, he didn't have bread in his pocket just in case. He had nothing. He said to God, "Here we go." And he was human. He was probably scared and hungry and cold, but he didn't take that plan B. He trusted in God. So you have to do a little translating, right? What is the wilderness in your life? To be a little poetic, a little symbolic. Put it in real time. God is your plan B. Okay? So have absolute faith that whatever you're going to declare is your 40 days, your wilderness experience, God is your plan B. Trust that much that God has your back. Okay? You're not doing this alone. You have us. You have this community to support you. God will put people in your path to support you. Ask, right? We're doing something big here, aren't we? We're saying yes to growing. We're saying yes to a renewed commitment to God. It's kind of big stuff. So remember, you're not in it alone. Like Jesus, you are becoming Christed in your own way, in your own time. And Lent is when you can focus on this Christhood growing in you, waking up with intention. We've heard Spirit say for weeks that we're making room. What does making room mean for you this Lenten season? What are you loosening and letting go? What parts of you are keeping you from a relationship with God? What is that ideal relationship with God? What does that look like? Maybe that is a first step. What do you want your relationship with God to look like? Just sit with that. You got to know where you're going, right? You have to know the destination. So if your relationship with God has kind of been put on you or has been around you your whole life, now you say, oh, right, this is what I want. This is what I claim. And then you know what you're working for. So maybe your meditations this week can be asking the question, what do I want my relationship with God to be like? Could be a good place to start. And what is blocking you from becoming the Christed version of you? Of being Jody Christ, Holly Christ, Julie Christ, Cynthia Christ. What's blocking you from being Christed? Only you can answer. Probably what you come up with, people will resonate with you. So we'll be talking about that together in the next few weeks. Lent brings up the theme of forgiveness. So as you figure out what these things are that are in your way of becoming Christed, forgiveness is one of your keys to let it go. There is great freedom in forgiveness. And if you can look at those things that are getting in your way of your relationship with God and you say, I release, I forgive, oh my goodness, what room you'll make. Jesus chose forgiveness all the time, right? If you read into the subtext sometimes in the Bible, I think that Jesus could get a little snarky. He was human, right? He got mad sometimes, but he forgave. Even his last words, his last moments of life, he said, God, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. We think about what those words mean. Maybe he's forgiving his murderers. Maybe he's also saying, God, they don't know who they are yet. They don't know that they're Christed. Forgive them. They're getting there. Can you choose that forgiveness for yourself? Can you love yourself as much as Jesus loved people in that moment of that horrific pain? Right in the middle of his murder, and he was able to say, forgive them. I forgive them. Toward the end of this journey, we're going to retell the story of Jesus's crucifixion. And words from Reverend Mark Anthony Lord. This is from the booklet I mentioned earlier. The crucifixion itself symbolizes a process of crossing out. or eliminating that which is no longer needed for our continued unfoldment. What has fulfilled its purpose in us must either be lifted to a higher level of expression and consciousness or let go of completely. Jesus' crucifixion illustrates both of these meanings. Crossing out which no longer serves or supports us feels downright scary. I know for myself that when I became aware that something is no longer serving me, whether it be a relationship, a job, a way of thinking, or way of being in the world, my first thought is, okay, I want to change, but I also want to take this with me. What I'm really saying is, I'm willing to change, but don't change me or anything in my life. I'm guessing you can relate. Our first impulse is to hold on tighter. Our true spiritual evolution is calling us to be happier, more fulfilled, and more on purpose. So that which doesn't match our next expansion has to go, or at least change along with us. That brings us to the really uncomfortable part. We don't know what will fall away in the world of form or what will transform and come with us. You don't get to pick and choose what stays and goes. But here's the deal. Crucifixion of that which is false and fear-based, and the resurrection of your full, authentic, powerful, and God-centered being is not optional. What is guaranteed is that you will neither miss nor want for anything. The God self within you will have the final say, and there will be a day when you completely and unequivocally trust it. You're already changing, you're already evolving. Let's put some intention to it. Here's your challenge. In these 40 days, how will you fast? What will you loose and let go? Build a process for that. How will you pray? Build a process. And as you do this, dream. Dream about what you will feel like, look like, what you'll act like when you come out of it, Christ did. Okay? Don't worry, you won't fail because whatever happens is meant to happen. You are unfolding completely and perfectly. Okay? Well, that was a lot, wasn't it? Let's take an offering for Unity Center of Des Moines. One of the ways we support this universe is we share our resources. So the link to donate has just been put up there by Holly. Thank you. You can send your offering via PayPal, Venmo. You can go to unitydesmoines.com, click the donate button. You can send us a check. We try to make it really easy. Listen, we need your donations right now. We do. We are in a pandemic and we're trying to keep our doors open. We're trying to still support the community. So every penny that you give us is put to good use, and you have my promise about that. Keeping in mind all gifts offered, both physical and spiritual, let's offer this affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I thankfully acknowledge God as my source. And as we collect our offering, we will have another song from Jody.
All right. Whoa, I'm sorry. Here I am. These things you keep, you better throw them all away. You want to turn your back on your soulless days. Once you were tethered, and now you are free. Once you were tethered, but now you are free. 'Cause that was the river, and this is the sea. Now I can see you're wavering as you try to decide. You've got a war in your head, and it's tearing you up inside. You're trying to make sense of something that you just can't see. You're trying to make sense, and you know that you once held the key. But that was the river, and this is the sea. Ooh. It's yours if you hurry. Still got enough time. And you don't need no ticket. You don't pay no fee. You don't need no ticket. You don't pay no fee. 'Cause that was the river. This is the sea. Look out, summer star, sinking over onto. Look out, summer star, sinking over onto. Look out, summer star, sinking over. Behold the sea.
Mm. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Let's bless the offering, holding it here right in front of your heart center, your heart chakra. Let's hold the blessings that you are giving and the blessings that you have received. We dedicate this offering to do the work of the Spirit of Truth through the people of Unity Center of Des Moines, and we are grateful. And we hold whatever blessings have been given to us, shared with us, and we say, thank you. More of this, please. You're invited to virtual coffee hour right after service on Zoom. The link for coffee hour is on the website and will be posted to Facebook shortly. Now it's time for our closing song. If you know the words, sing along and let its words just infuse you with love and peace. And have a blessed Lent. Let there be peace on earth.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Bless you all.